Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. It's been one of those weeks in Miami where the air around Hard Rock Stadium feels heavy with questions, frustration, and maybe even a little disbelief. The kind of week where fans flood talk shows and social media, demanding answers, explanations, and, in some corners, even a quarterback change. But despite all the noise, despite the Dolphins' brutal 31-6 loss to the Cleveland Browns in Week 7, a game where nothing seemed to click, head coach Mike McDaniel has made one thing abundantly clear. Tua Tagovailoa is still his guy. No hesitation, no waffling. Speaking to reporters after the game, McDaniel was direct and confident, saying that Tua remains the starting quarterback going forward. And that's a statement that carries weight, not just because of who said it, but because of when it was said, at a time when the Dolphins are wobbling on the edge of identity crisis territory. Let's be honest, Tua hasn't exactly been lighting up the league this season. After 7 games, his numbers paint a picture of inconsistency, completing 67.8% of his passes for 1,313 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Those stats are fine, maybe even slightly above average in some contexts, but they don't tell the whole story. The eye test, the rhythm of the offense, and the lack of explosiveness we once associated with Miami's speed-driven attack, they all suggest something deeper is off. Against the Browns, it wasn't just a bad day at the office. It was a meltdown. The Dolphins' usually dynamic offense looked flat, slow, and predictable. And Tua, once celebrated for his quick decision-making and precision, looked hesitant, even lost at times. Late in the blowout, McDaniel made the decision to bench him. But that move, he clarified later, was about protection, not punishment. The game was out of hand, the hits were piling up, and there was no point risking injury. Still, the optics were rough. When your quarterback gets pulled, even for his own safety, fans start reading between the lines. And make no mistake, the noise surrounding Tua's future in Miami is growing louder by the day. Every sports show, every podcast, every fan discussion seems to revolve around the same question. Is he really the long-term answer? Some point to the flashes of brilliance from his earlier seasons, when he was orchestrating McDaniel's offense like a maestro, slicing through defenses with timing and accuracy. Others, though, see a pattern, moments of greatness followed by stretches of mediocrity, and lately, more of the latter. The frustration isn't just about one bad game or even one bad stretch. It's about expectations. This team was supposed to be in the thick of the AFC playoff hunt, not sitting on a 3-4 record wondering if their window is closing faster than they thought. Now, let's talk money, because in today's NFL, contracts tell you as much about a player's status as any coach's press conference ever could. Tua's future is, in many ways, tied to the Dolphins' checkbook. Earlier this year, he signed a massive 4-year deal worth up to $212 million, with a jaw-dropping $167 million guaranteed. And on top of that, his 2026 compensation, $54 million, is already locked in. Translation: even if the Dolphins wanted to move on from him, it wouldn't be simple. That kind of financial commitment isn't something you can just shrug off. Moving him would create a salary cap mess of epic proportions, and finding a trade partner willing to absorb that kind of contract after his recent performances? That's a fantasy, not a plan. So yes, Tua is the starter going forward, partly because McDaniel still believes in him, but also because the organization's hands are pretty much tied. And yet, McDaniel's belief in Tua doesn't seem to be forced or hollow. There's still that sense of loyalty, that mutual trust that's been a hallmark of their relationship since McDaniel arrived in Miami. He's consistently praised Tua's leadership, his preparation, and his ability to bounce back from adversity. Remember, this is the same quarterback who's faced career-threatening concussions, public doubts about his durability, and endless speculation about whether he's the guy. Every time, he's fought back. And to his credit, Tua hasn't shied away from accountability. After the loss to Cleveland, he faced the media, admitted he needed to play better, and took responsibility for the team's struggles. That might not mean much to critics, but inside a locker room, that matters. Still, there's no denying the tension. McDaniel himself is feeling the heat. His job security isn't exactly bulletproof these days. While the loss to the Browns isn't expected to trigger any mid-season firings, the whispers are there. Miami's once high-flying offense looks grounded, the defense has been inconsistent, and the entire organization feels like it's standing at a crossroads. Fans are asking if McDaniel's innovative, player-friendly style has lost its edge, if the league has figured him out. Others wonder if he's simply too loyal to Tua, if that bond is clouding his judgment. It's a tricky balance, staying loyal to your quarterback while also being brutally honest about his limitations. The thing is, this situation isn't just about one quarterback or one coach. It's about an organization that spent years trying to climb out of mediocrity and reach true contender status. Since drafting Tua 5th overall out of Alabama in 2020, the Dolphins have built everything around him. The weapons, TYREEK Hill, Jalen Waddle, and a stable of fast backs, were all part of a vision to maximize his strengths. The offense was designed to play to his rhythm, his anticipation, his accuracy on short and intermediate routes. And for a while, it worked. Miami looked electric, creative, unstoppable. But as we've seen this season, when defenses disrupt that timing or when Tua's decision-making falters, everything crumbles. Suddenly, the explosive plays disappear, the tempo slows, and the offense starts feeling predictable. It's hard not to think back to the hype from just a year ago, when the Dolphins were the darlings of the NFL. Everyone was talking about McDaniel's motion-heavy schemes and Tua's resurgence. The MVP Tua conversation wasn't just a meme, it was real. But football moves fast, and narratives shift even faster. Now, those same voices that once praised him are questioning his ceiling. Can he be elite without everything being perfect around him? Can he carry a team when the system breaks down? Those are fair questions, and the answers will determine not just Tua's legacy in Miami, but possibly McDaniel's future as well. And while the pressure mounts, you can't ignore the human side of all this. Tua is 27 years old, still relatively young in quarterback years, and he's been under a microscope since the moment he was drafted. He's had to live up to impossible comparisons, to his college glory days at Alabama, to Justin Herbert, who was drafted right after him and has had a more stable statistical career, to every other young quarterback who's found faster success. It's exhausting. And now, with each interception, each stalled drive, that scrutiny only intensifies. But what stands out about Tua, and maybe why McDaniel refuses to waver, is that he's never backed down. He's not the loud, rah-rah type. He's quiet, methodical, and deeply invested in proving people wrong. As for the fans, they're caught between hope and frustration. They've seen glimpses of what this team can be, moments where Tua looks like the franchise cornerstone everyone dreamed of. And then they've seen the other side, the inconsistency, the flat performances, the missed opportunities. That's the emotional roller coaster of being a Dolphins fan in 2025. Every week feels like a referendum on the future, and every game could be the one that tips the balance. But here's the thing about the NFL, it's never static. A few wins, a little momentum, and the narrative can change overnight. McDaniel knows that, and so does Tua. For now, the message coming out of Miami is clear. They're sticking with their quarterback. The critics can talk, the rumors can swirl, but inside that building, the belief remains. Whether that belief leads to redemption or disappointment, only time will tell. What's certain is that the rest of this season just got a whole lot more interesting. Every snap, every throw, every decision will be dissected, debated, and discussed endlessly. And for better or worse, it's all going to revolve around one man. Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback who refuses to quit, the lightning rod of Miami's hopes, and the center of a storm that shows no signs of calming down anytime soon. Go with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL world has been buzzing nonstop over the past few days, and it seems that the Miami Dolphins are at the center of a storm that nobody saw coming. Fans are still trying to digest what just unfolded between Jalen Waddle and TYREEK Hill, two of the league's most electric wide receivers, whose synergy was supposed to be untouchable. The rumor mill has been running at full speed, fueled by what some insiders are whispering could be a serious rift in the Dolphins' locker room. According to the murmurs, Waddle, who has been nothing short of phenomenal since joining the Dolphins in 2021, reportedly lost his patience with Hill during a recent practice session, and the incident was more than just a minor disagreement. It allegedly turned into a full-blown confrontation that left teammates visibly shaken. Sources close to the team suggest that Waddle's frustration has been simmering for months, stemming from what he perceives as Hill dominating the spotlight and, at times, overshadowing his own contributions on the field. Waddle, after all, has been a workhorse for Miami, consistently putting up impressive numbers despite sharing targets with one of the league's fastest and most dynamic receivers. And while Hill has always been known for his explosive plays and highlight reel catches, insiders are hinting that Waddle is beginning to feel that the balance of attention, and perhaps even trust, has shifted. There are whispers that during this particular practice, tempers flared over route execution and timing on key plays, and what was supposed to be a routine session devolved into heated words exchanged on the turf. Some eyewitnesses even claim that coaches had to step in to separate the two before the argument escalated further, which, if true, would mark a remarkable departure from the usually composed Waddle. Fans have been quick to react, flooding social media with speculation, memes, and heated debates about what this could mean for the Dolphins' chemistry. Some believe that Waddle's alleged outburst is a wake-up call for the team to recalibrate its dynamics, ensuring that both star receivers can shine without friction. Others, however, fear that the tension could ripple into the season, affecting morale and performance. There are even whispers suggesting that this incident might have been brewing for some time, with subtle signs of friction visible in prior games, such as moments when Waddle seemed hesitant to celebrate Hill's touchdowns or when sideline reactions hinted at unspoken dissatisfaction. Analysts have started poring over game footage frame by frame, looking for micro-expressions, gestures, or body language that could validate these rumors, and the debate online has become almost feverish. Some hardcore fans are defending Waddle, claiming that his passion and competitive drive might have simply boiled over, while others are pointing fingers at Hill, suggesting that his superstar status sometimes overshadows teammates' contributions. Interestingly, the timing of this rumored clash comes at a critical juncture for the Dolphins. With playoffs ambitions hanging in the balance and expectations higher than ever, any disruption in the chemistry between top receivers could have dramatic consequences. The Dolphins' coaching staff has reportedly been in emergency strategy sessions behind closed doors, trying to ensure that this internal discord does not bleed onto the field. Some insiders even hint that the coaches are considering adjusting play calling to give Waddle more high-impact opportunities, possibly as a measure to calm the situation, though nothing has been confirmed publicly. Meanwhile, locker room dynamics are under intense scrutiny, with veteran players being asked to mediate and younger players observing every interaction closely. Rumors have it that several teammates have privately reached out to Waddle to offer support, acknowledging his frustration while reminding him of the importance of team unity. Sports commentators have not held back, either. On air, they've speculated endlessly about what this might mean for Waddle's relationship with Hill, and even for his future in Miami. Some are suggesting that if tensions continue to simmer, we could witness one of the most dramatic mid-season storylines in recent NFL history, a potential trade or reshuffling of the Dolphins' receiving core, though such scenarios remain purely speculative at this stage. Meanwhile, fan forums are alive with debates, ranging from tactical analyses about how plays might shift to emotional arguments about loyalty, pride, and what it means to be a team player at the highest level of professional football. Every social media post featuring Waddle or Hill now seems to be dissected for hidden meaning, from the way they react to each other on video clips to cryptic comments on Instagram and Twitter, fueling the rumor mill even further. Adding fuel to the fire, some sources hint that Waddle's frustration might not only be about on-field moments, but also about off-field recognition. Hill's highlight reels, social media presence, and media coverage have often dominated narratives around the Dolphins' aerial attack, leading Waddle to reportedly feel undervalued despite consistently stellar performances. This alleged perception of being overlooked could have reached a breaking point during that intense practice, and insiders claim that Waddle's reaction was a mix of personal frustration and a competitive desire to assert himself as a legitimate co-star in Miami's offensive scheme. While coaches and PR personnel are working overtime to downplay the incident publicly, the locker room chatter tells a different story, and several unnamed players have apparently confided that the tension has been palpable, with teammates whispering in corners, watching interactions closely, and speculating about the potential fallout. Rumors have also started to swirl about Hill's side of the story. Some suggest that Hill was equally frustrated with WADDLE, feeling that his own explosiveness and leadership were being questioned in subtle ways. While nothing has been confirmed, these murmurings paint a picture of a classic superstar clash. Two highly talented, highly competitive athletes whose egos, passions, and ambitions momentarily collided, resulting in what could become a defining moment for the Dolphins season. Sports psychologists and team insiders are reportedly monitoring the situation, emphasizing the importance of conflict resolution and channeling competitive energy positively. But fans are already imagining headlines, trade possibilities, and dramatic game day scenarios where the rumored tension could explode in front of stadium crowds. What makes this story particularly compelling, and why it's taken the NFL rumor mill by storm, is that both WADDLE and Hill are still at the peak of their careers, representing a duo that many analysts have labeled as one of the most dynamic in recent memory. The idea that these two could clash is almost unthinkable for casual fans, which makes the whispers and leaks all the more tantalizing. Social media trends have exploded with hashtags speculating about whether the Dolphins' chemistry has been permanently disrupted, whether WADDLE will demand more targets, or if Hill might need to adjust his game to accommodate a teammate who is finally asserting himself. Even former players and commentators have weighed in, each adding their own spin on what might have triggered this rumored confrontation and whether it's a sign of deeper issues within the team. Despite the whirlwind of speculation, one thing seems certain. The tension between WADDLE and Hill has captured the imagination of fans, pundits, and insiders alike. Every practice, every play, and every sideline interaction is now under microscopic scrutiny. Will this be a temporary bump in the road, a brief spark that reignites motivation and pushes the Dolphins to new heights? Or will it fester, becoming a storyline that defines the season, with ramifications reaching far beyond the locker room? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. The NFL, and particularly Miami, will never look at wide receiver duos the same way again. The rumor mills are churning, the fans are on edge, and the Dolphins are navigating uncharted waters as whispers of Jalen Waddle losing patience with TYREEK Hill evolve into one of the most talked-about stories in recent NFL history. And for those of us who live for drama, suspense, and the human side of sports, this saga is just getting started, promising headlines, speculation, and heated debates for weeks, if not months, to come. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.